You've spent a lifetime making thoughtful choices. You worked hard. You raised others. You paid the bills, saved what you could, clipped coupons, compared prices, planned for rainy days. There were times when you put your own wants on hold because someone else needed something more. And that was love. That was strength. That was you being the heart of your family. So now, in this chapter of life, when the pace has finally slowed just a little, why does spending still feel so complicated? Why does a simple purchase come with that quiet tug of guilt? Why do you sometimes walk away from the checkout line wondering if you were too much or not enough? The truth is, many of us carry the money habits we learned when we were younger, habits built in survival, in sacrifice, in making do. But not all of those habits were built for the woman you are today, because this isn't the chapter of building. This is the chapter of living. You've already earned the right to choose ease over excess, peace over pressure, intention over impulse. But no one ever told you that letting go of certain expenses, patterns, or expectations doesn't make you irresponsible. It makes you wise. That's what we're going to do together today. We're going to talk woman to woman about the quiet spending habits that may no longer serve you and the subtle shifts that could set you free. Not in a way that feels like restriction, but in a way that feels like release. These are not rules, they're invitations to live lighter, to spend smarter, to feel more in tune with the season you're in. And as we walk through these 9 areas, I want you to listen, not just with your wallet, but with your heart. Ask yourself, does this still bring me peace? Or is it just an old story I've outgrown? Because the most powerful kind of money is not the kind that proves your worth. It's the kind that protects your joy. Let's begin. 1. Buying for status, not comfort. A pair of $300 shoes, a purse with a gold emblem, that necklace you keep in its box waiting for the right occasion. Maybe they once made you feel polished, important, seen. Maybe they still do, but less often. And maybe when you really pause, you wonder, who am I dressing for now? There was a time when image was part of survival. In the office, at gatherings, even at the grocery store. You learned how to look the part. You wear confidence on your shoulders, even when you didn't feel it in your heart. And let's be honest, it mattered. There was value in putting your best foot forward. But here, in this season, the most valuable thing you can wear isn't a label. It's your presence. Now, you're not walking into boardrooms. You're walking into sunlit kitchens, into gardens, into quiet afternoons with a book or a friend. You're not here to be noticed. You're here to be. And the kind of beauty that lives here isn't loud. It doesn't sparkle from a store window. It rises up from ease, from laughter, from knowing exactly who you are and no longer needing to prove it. Let me tell you something true. Real elegance is comfort that doesn't apologize. It's a cotton dress that breathes with you. It's shoes that carry you punishment. It's fabric that loves your skin, not fashion that shames your shape. It's your hair undone, your voice unfiltered, your day untouched by the need to impress. You don't stop caring about how you look. You just start caring differently. Less about putting together an outfit and more about feeling like yourself. And when you dress from that place, from that piece, people notice. Not because you're flashy, but because you're free. So before you click add to cart or reach for that boutique handbag, ask yourself gently, am I buying this to feel more like me or to chase a version of me I no longer need? Because the most beautiful accessory you'll ever wear is the lightness of knowing you already have enough. And that, my friend, never goes out of style. 2. Chasing every tech upgrade. New phone, new tablet, new frustration. It's supposed to make life easier, but sometimes all it really gives you is a headache. A screen full of unfamiliar icons, a setting you can't find, a button that used to be where it isn't anymore. And you ask yourself, not for the first time, do I really need a device with 18 cameras just to see my grandson smile? Technology, when it works for you, is a gift. It connects you across time zones. It lets you listen to your favorite song from 1974 in seconds. It stores your favorite photo of your daughter holding your great grandbaby. It's amazing when it works with your life. But when it doesn't, it becomes one more thing to manage, one more update, one more password, one more monthly payment, and the pressure is everywhere. Ads promising faster speeds, clearer images, AI this, cloud that. They make you feel like you're missing out if you don't keep up. But here's the truth, you're not behind, you're wise. You don't need the latest model. You need something that works for you. Something that calls the people you love, that shows you the weather, that lets you send a text with a heart emoji when words fall short. That's enough. That's more than enough. Let me tell you this gently. Upgrading your tech is not a requirement for staying relevant. You are relevant because you're thoughtful, because you show up, because you care. Not because your phone is the same one they just featured on the evening news. So if your current device still works, if it still connects you, supports you, and doesn't make you want to throw it across the room, keep it. Let simplicity be your upgrade. Let ease be your status symbol. Let peace of mind be the best tech feature you own. Because in this season of life, the real power isn't in a processor. It's in knowing what serves you and letting go of what doesn't. 3. Paying interest for a life you've already lived. That dinner you put on the card last year, the one you barely remember, you're still paying for it today. That emergency home repair from 2 springs ago, still showing up in your monthly balance. Little by little, those moments, ones you've already lived, already forgotten, are costing you more than they ever gave. Credit cards can feel like a lifeline when money is tight, and at times, they are. But over time, that convenience starts to come with chains, the kind you can't see, but you feel, not just in your bank account, but in your chest, when the bill arrives and your stomach turns. When you look at the balance and feel that sinking weight, that quiet shame, that thought you never say out loud. How did it get this far? But let me tell you something with love. Debt is not a character flaw. It's not a sign you failed. It's a signal that something needs care, not criticism. Because credit card debt doesn't just cost money. It costs mental space. It steals sleep. It creates a background hum of anxiety that never quite shuts off. And here's what's worse. We keep it to ourselves. We don't talk about it. We think we're the only ones. But you're not. So many women are quietly carrying balances, quietly avoiding statements, quietly beating themselves up over choices they made with the best intentions. But you don't have to carry it all alone. You don't need a miracle. You need a plan, a phone call to your bank, a lower interest option, a payment strategy you can stick to, one small, steady step at a time. And most importantly, you need kindness towards yourself. Because peace doesn't come from buying more. It comes from feeling safe in what you already have and knowing you're not defined by a number on a screen. You're defined by how gently you treat yourself as you move forward. 4. Holding on to subscriptions that no longer serve you. It started innocently enough. A free trial here, a must-watch series there, maybe a fitness app you used for 2 weeks, or a meditation app you forgot to open. Before you knew it, your credit card had become a quiet graveyard of forgotten subscriptions, each one small, but together slowly draining. You signed up for one, then another, then 5, and now you're paying to scroll past shows you don't watch, apps you don't open, promises you don't even remember making. And that's no accident. These companies count on you forgetting. They bank on auto renewal, on emails you don't open, on the quiet, unspoken idea that it's only $9.99 until that number multiplies month after month. But you are not forgetful. You are generous. You said yes in a moment when you thought it would help. Your body, your mood, your boredom, your sleep. And maybe it did for a time. But now, if you pause and look closely, does it still serve you? You deserve more than background noise. Your attention, your time, your money. All of it deserves to be spent with care, not out of habit. Because in this chapter of life, simplicity isn't boring, it's beautiful. So here's a gentle challenge. Do a subscription audit. Go through your bank statement, list them out, all of them. Then ask, which ones truly add joy, ease, or inspiration to my day? Keep those. Let go of the rest. Margaret, a woman I once met, told me she did this and found she was spending over $80 a month on services she hadn't used in over 6 months. When she canceled them, she didn't feel deprived. She felt light. And she used that $80 to treat herself to a massage once a month, something she hadn't done in years. That's the difference between mindless spending and soulful investing. Simplicity is the new luxury. And peace of mind, that's the subscription worth keeping. Number 5, food delivery that feeds the loneliness, not the body. Tap, tap. Dinner's here again. A brown paper bag handed to your door by someone you'll never see again. You thank them, close the door, open the bag, and sit alone at the table. Or maybe on the couch. The food is warm, but your heart still feels a little empty. There was a time when food was an event, a shared ritual, a reason to set the table, to pass a dish, to hear someone say, this is good. Now it's a transaction, a screen, a delivery fee, another meal eaten in silence. Let's be clear. Delivery has its place. It's convenient, especially on days when energy is low or errands have piled up. But when it becomes the norm, something deeper gets lost. It fills your stomach, yes, but it doesn't nourish you. Not really. It's fast, but it's not fulfilling. Over time, that pattern costs more than the receipt shows. It costs health with hidden sodium oils and preservatives. It costs money, quietly adding up to thousands a year. But most of all, it can cost joy because food is never just food. It's memory, connection, love made visible. I once spoke to a woman named Linda. After her husband passed and she started ordering in 4 or 5 times a week. She told herself it was easier. But one day she realized she couldn't remember the last time she had cut vegetables, or smelled garlic in a pan, or sat down at a table set just for her. I stopped feeding myself, she said, in every sense of the word. So she started small. 1 home-cooked meal a week, nothing fancy, just soup, roasted sweet potatoes, a grilled chicken breast with lemon. And something shifted. Her kitchen became warm again. Her body felt steadier. She even invited her neighbor Carol to join her once a week. That one meal turned into a rhythm. And slowly, she began to feel less alone. You don't have to give up delivery completely, but maybe, just maybe, you make space for food to be love again, not just convenience. Cook something once a week. Light a candle. Eat off your favorite plate. Invite someone over. Or call someone while you eat. Because when you feed your body and your heart, everything tastes better. 6, equipment that collects dust, not motivation. You bought it with the best of intentions. A new year, a health goal. That little voice saying, this time, I'll really do it. So you invested in the elliptical, the recumbent bike, the home gym system. It looked good in the corner at first. Promising, hopeful. But now, it's a coat rack, a guilt sculpture, a silent reminder of something you should be doing. Let me say this gently. It's not your fault. Life changes. Schedules shift, joints get stiff, motivation comes and goes. And sometimes what we think will help us heal ends up making us feel worse, not because the machine failed, but because we tied our worth to whether we used it. Here's the truth. You don't need fancy equipment to be healthy. You don't need a $2,000 treadmill to honor your body. What you do need is movement, joyful, flexible, sustainable movement that fits your energy, your lifestyle, your reality. Walking counts. Stretching on the porch counts. Dancing to oldies in your kitchen absolutely counts. Your body doesn't care if it's a gym or a garden path. It cares that you move it with love. So if that machine is collecting more dust than miles, maybe it's time to let it go. Sell it, donate it, reclaim that space for something that feeds you, a reading nook, a yoga mat, a comfy chair by the window, and in its place, create a new definition of wellness, one rooted in grace, not guilt, because the best fitness routine is the one you'll actually enjoy. Number 7, overpriced supplements with overpromised benefits. You've seen them. The bottles lined up in glossy ads. Erase wrinkles. Boost energy. Support graceful aging. Collagen powders. Mushroom elixirs. Super green tablets with names you can't pronounce. They promise miracles, and for $80 a month they should. But do they really work? Or are they just selling hope in a bottle? It's easy to fall for it. You want to feel good. You want to stay sharp, strong, balanced. And when something says it can help, quickly, naturally, painlessly, you listen. Because you care about your health. You should care. But caring doesn't mean buying blindly. The truth is, many supplements are sold with language that sounds like science but isn't. They tap into fear. Fear of aging, of slowing down, of fading away. And they sell you a fix. But your body is smarter than a label. It doesn't need more. It needs right. Right nutrients, right dosage, right timing for you. Not for the 20-something influencer on your screen. Not for the ad campaign designed to make you doubt yourself. Here's a more empowering path. Talk to your doctor. Not the rushed 5-minute version. Find someone who listens. Ask for blood work. Look for real data. Are you low on vitamin D, iron, B12? That's where support starts, with information, not impulse. And once you know what your body truly needs, buy only what supports that. 1 or 2 high-quality essentials may do far more than a basket of trendy blends. Health shouldn't feel like a guessing game or a subscription trap. So before you order that new anti-aging powder, pause, breathe, ask yourself, does this support me or just my insecurity? Because real wellness doesn't come in shiny packaging. It comes from knowing yourself and choosing care over hype. 8, gifting out of guilt, not joy. You remember every birthday. You wrap every holiday in ribbons and thoughtfulness. You send flowers just because, drop off casseroles, pick out little trinkets for your grandkids' stockings, buy gift cards for the neighbor who waters your plants. And you mean it. It comes from a deep, good place, the part of you that's always cared. But let me ask you gently, when was the last time you gave something to yourself? For many women over 60, giving becomes a quiet reflex, a way to feel useful, remembered, included, and sometimes especially during the holidays or big family milestones, giving becomes a way to prove love. But here's the truth. No one says out loud, love doesn't need a receipt. You don't have to buy affection. You don't have to earn your place with the biggest gift bag. You've already given more than enough. In time, in energy, in quiet sacrifices they may never even notice. That's the kind of giving that shaped lives. But what happens when giving becomes exhausting? When it quietly drains your bank account, in your spirit, when you say yes out of guilt, and then sit up in bed wondering if you've overextended Again, that's not generosity, that's pressure wearing a pretty bow. So here's a radical tender idea. Set a giving budget, not because you're stingy, but because you're wise. Write it down. Make it sacred. Not just how much you'll spend, but how you want giving to feel. Light, loving, aligned, and most importantly, make sure your name is on that list too. Buy yourself the good hand cream, the book you've been eyeing, the comfortable shoes, the Sunday morning coffee on a quiet bench. Not as a reward, not as a splurge, but as recognition that you too deserve to receive. Because the most powerful kind of gift is the one that reminds someone they matter. Let that someone be you. 9. Living big when your soul wants small. You look around your house, the rooms are full of furniture, of memories, of just in case items tucked into cabinets you haven't opened in years. The garage holds tools no one uses. The guest room has become storage. And sometimes, even though the house is quiet, it feels heavy. Maybe you once needed all this space. For children running down hallways, for big family dinners, for holiday mornings filled with laughter and wrapping paper. And what a beautiful season that was. But now, the kids have grown. The rooms echo more than they speak. And deep down you wonder, who am I keeping all this for? The same goes for cars, for wardrobes, for calendars filled with commitments that used to feel exciting and now feel like obligation in disguise. There's a quiet truth many women over 60 begin to feel, even if they rarely say it out loud. I don't want more anymore. I want less, but deeper. And yet, letting go can feel like failure, like surrender, like admitting something is over. But what if it's not about endings? What if it's about aligning your surroundings with your real energy, your real needs, your real joy? Because living big, when your soul is asking for small, is a form of disconnection. It's wearing a version of your life that no longer fits. And no matter how beautiful the dress, if it doesn't fit, it becomes a burden. So let this be your gentle permission slip. You can choose smaller, you can downsize, declutter, simplify. Not because you're shrinking, but because you're clarifying. Because you want to spend more time sitting in the sun and less time dusting things that no longer mean anything to you. Maybe you move to a cozier space that's easier to care for. Maybe you give away dishes that haven't seen daylight since the 90s. Maybe you say no to the next social event and yes to a quiet evening with yourself. Freedom isn't always found in square footage. Sometimes it's found in a drawer that finally closes without forcing it, in a closet that only holds what you love, in a life that gives you room, not to host more, but to be more. This isn't downsizing. This is right-sizing for the woman you are now, and she is worthy of a life that feels light, true, and fully her own. Spend less on what's gone, more on what's now. At this age, your money isn't about proving anything. Not status, not worth, not success. You've already done the hard work. You've shown up, you've given, built, raised, endured. Now, your money has one job: to give you back to yourself. This season of life isn't about accumulation, it's about alignment. And that means letting go of the things and spending patterns that no longer feel like love. The designer label you bought to be seen. The tech upgrade that left you overwhelmed. The subscriptions. The silent guilt from unused equipment. The gifts you gave while forgetting yourself in the process. You're not here to impress. You're here to feel alive. To feel the sun on your skin during a walk instead of scrolling through a $1,000 screen. To hear your own thoughts in a decluttered home. To cook something simple and nourishing, not because you have to, but because you get to. Every dollar spent in alignment brings you closer to that life, the one that feels light, peaceful, and full of choice. Not the one that looks good in photos, but the one that feels good in your bones. So let me ask you gently, which part of today's message felt most personal to you? Was it the drawer full of vitamins you never open? The car with monthly payments you quietly regret? Or the longing for a smaller life, one that fits finally like a favorite sweater? If something touched you today, I invite you to leave a comment below, not just for you, but for someone else who might need your courage. Tap like if you're ready to spend with wisdom, and subscribe for weekly videos made just for you, where joy comes first, peace comes naturally, and purpose is no longer something to chase, it's something you finally live. Because now, dear friend, is the time to spend less on what's gone and more on what's here.